Hello and welcome to the Alpine Sports Cabin, and today I'm catching up with the awesome, amazing Kathryn Pinkham, who is the founder of the Insomnia Clinic. How are you, Kathryn?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. Working from home, as I'm sure everyone is at the moment, or most people, unless you're a frontline worker. So thumbs up to everyone doing their bit. And I thought it'd be a good opportunity just today to find out how we can sleep better, because I know good sleep is really good for your health, your mental health, and all that side of things. And no better person than you to tell us about that, Kathryn. So how can we sleep better?
At the moment, the reason so many people are sleeping poorly is because, firstly, anxiety. So anxiety and sleep just don't go well together. And at the moment, people who have previously never had an issue with sleep are suddenly waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning, finding that they've got lots to worry about. So anxiety is one of the biggest issues, but also the sort of nature of the lockdown is that a lot of the things that we do naturally, which help us to sleep, we suddenly can't do. So our routine has gone out the window. Our body clock thrives on routine, and suddenly we're getting up at different times, we're going to bed at different times, we're not getting as much fresh air. Some people who don't have gardens are really struggling to get out at all. If you've been poorly, you're spending more time in bed, which again is not normal. So there's a kind of combination of lots of things at the moment, none of which are conducive to sleep, which is why it's kind of no surprise that so many people are having a problem.
Personally, I'm spending a lot more time watching the news, probably even more time on social media. Is the extra screen time, is that something that's probably not helping people at the moment as well?
Yeah, I think it's a factor for two reasons. If you're watching screens right up until bedtime, so if you're on your phone or your laptop or you're watching things in bed right up until bedtime, then that blue light can inhibit the development of melatonin, which is a sleepy hormone that we need to sleep. So from that point of view, it's important to kind of limit your screen time, especially before bed. But I think probably the other side of it really is that actually we need to limit how much time we're spending watching the news or reading Twitter or on social media, because I don't know about you, but I found certainly the mornings where I let myself watch too much, it's definitely changing how I feel that day. And I'm by no means saying that we should be ignorant, but I think limiting your intake of news per day is helpful for sleep. So, maybe 15 minutes, a couple of times a day, only certain, news feeds and outlets, reputable ones where the information is worth it.
Roger. Okay, good advice. Now, the frontline workers, so doctors, nurses, people that are helping to get people back on their feet, must be very difficult for them, because they're doing very long shifts, coming home, wanting to go straight to bed. Have you got any tips that you'd give to anyone on the front line right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think what the first thing that I would say to anybody who's in that environment at the minute, which is going to be very stressful, very hard work for them, is that I think probably no amount of sleep is going to make you feel refreshed at the moment. And I know that sounds quite damning, but actually, when you're under that amount of stress, sleep is not going to be able to, you're not going to jump out of bed every morning feeling positive and full of motivation and energy, because time is hard for you at the moment. So the first thing I would say is don't expect too much from your sleep. Once this is all over, you will get that energy back. You can do other things to help yourself relax and recharge, and you will feel better. So firstly, don't worry too much about it. And secondly, the quality of the sleep is what's important for those people. So if you are struggling to sleep, if you're getting home after a long shift, you're exhausted, but you can't fall asleep, or you're waking in the night, then what I would recommend is, however late you get back, however little time you've got at home, try and keep a wind down routine. So even if it's just 20 minutes where you kind of switch off your phone, read a book, do a bit of mindfulness, chat to your partner, chat to somebody, even just write stuff down and try and put the day to rest before you go to bed, is going to be a good way of kind of creating that bridge between daytime and bedtime. Set your alarm the next morning, try to keep to any sort of routine you can, don't lie in bed too long the next day.
Got you. And I love the free webinar that you're doing as well. That's awesome. So well done to that. Where can people, NHS workers, where can people find that? Or shall I just put a little link on the screen?
Yes, so at the moment I'm doing my full sleep course. So it's a step-by-step course to help you to sleep better. That's now free for all NHS workers. So all you have to do is just email me a copy of your ID badge and I'll send you over a code to get that for free. For everybody else, I've got a free sleep webinar, which will give you loads more information about why you're not sleeping well at the moment, things that you can do, things that you can implement straight away, and yeah, loads of information in it. It's about an hour long and it's free. So it's a good thing to do if you are struggling with your sleep. So the first tip is, what is natural at the minute is that people are probably going to go to bed earlier, and they're also going to stop setting their alarms because they haven't got to get up for work, school run, commute. People don't have as much reason to get up. That's sort of the worst thing you can do at the moment for your sleep. So go to bed at your normal time or later, and set your alarm nice and early. Now, the reason for that is because in order to sleep well, we have to have a strong sleep drive. So if you imagine an elastic band, the time out of bed, the longer we're out of bed for, the tighter that elastic band becomes. And as tight as that elastic band and as high as that drive can be at bedtime, the better you will sleep. So you'll fall asleep quicker and your quality will be better. So think of it like an appetite. You need to build up a strong appetite. So set your alarm early, same as you always would have done, and get up and out of bed, and save your bedroom for bedtime and go to bed as late as you can, and only go to bed when you're really tired. So resist this temptation to kind of spend lots of time sitting in or on the bed, watching telly, working. Keep all of that out of your bedroom. Go to bed nice and late, get up nice and early, and you'll keep that quality of sleep going.
That's brilliant. I love that. So you associate your bed with sleep, not like...
Yeah.
Okay, good tips from the top.
And the second tip would be, if you are struggling to sleep well, either falling asleep or waking up, the first thing that we all do is look at the clock. And so we end up clock watching all night. And the reason why that's so damaging for sleep is because, firstly, if we keep looking at the clock, we kind of set this internal alarm to keep on waking up. So every time you check the clock, you're kind of teaching yourself tomorrow night to keep waking up and checking the clock. The second reason it's damaging for your sleep is that as soon as you've looked at the clock, it's really hard not to start that chain of thoughts and kind of worries about how little sleep you're getting. So we start to panic because we've only got a couple of hours left and we haven't had enough quality of sleep. So the second tip is, when you wake, so set your alarm for the morning and then turn your clock to the wall or put your phone outside the room, wherever you need to move it so you're not tempted to look. And when you wake in the night, resist that temptation. And if you really can't sleep, just get out of bed. Don't lie in bed for hours awake. Leave the bedroom, watch TV, do something else, and go back to bed when you're tired. So it's really important that we keep that connection with our bed very strong and about sleep, not about anxiety or wakefulness or tossing and turning.
Amazing. Great. Right. And was there a third tip?
Got one more.
Okay.
And the third one is, whilst there's a lot of anxiety around, it's unrealistic to think that we could not worry. So this is not about getting rid of worries, but we can manage it differently. If you are somebody who's worrying a lot, you've got a lot of kind of what if thoughts going on, then bedtime becomes the perfect time for your mind to kind of sabotage your sleep and make you run through them. So get into the habit every day, pen and paper, 15, 20 minutes a day, and just write down everything on your mind. Doesn't matter how silly it is. Doesn't matter if you've already made a plan, just write everything down. And it's a really therapeutic way of seeing in black and white, A, what you have some control over and what you don't, and B, seeing that you don't normally have as many things you're not worried about as many things as it feels in your own head. So it's a therapeutic way of saying to your mind, I'm not ignoring this stuff. I'm acknowledging it. I'm going to solve what I can solve, and I'm going to let go of what I have to let go of. But by the time you get into bed, you've kind of dealt with it. And that's what we need to start doing, so that bedtime doesn't become the place where we just lie there kind of going over everything. That's
a brilliant idea. All right. Never thought of that. So always have a pen and pencil, a pen and pad by the bed, just to write down, lock away your thoughts so you can just almost put them under your pillow until the next morning, sort of thing. Brilliant. Okay, that's great. Kathryn, thank you so much for your time. I know you're mega busy today, so if anyone wants to speak to Kathryn further about getting better sleep, whether it's for you, your family, or your workers, or etc., then get in touch with her, and I'm sure she'd love to help. Brilliant. Thanks, Kathryn.
Great. Thank you. Cheers.